Hey guys, what's up? It's Danielle and welcome back to Dime Vlogs. I'm so sorry that we have not been posting anything in a very long time. School obviously started back up for all of us and it's been super stressful and none of us just have the time to make videos. But if you did not watch the vlog that was uploaded yesterday, then you will not know that all of us met Kian and JC and James in Portland, Oregon on the 5th. So like we did for Sean, we are going to do our individual experiences, and so here's mine. The first thing we did when we got to Portland is we went to Voodoo Donuts because none of us had had it before. And it was about like $2.50-ish, maybe, I don't know, when we started heading to the venue. But we ran into some complications with the directions and we got lost. A lot of confusion. A lot of illegal U-turns. We finally got on the right track to go to the venue. We got there at around 3:30 and the doors to the meet and greet were supposed to open at 4:30. We got there and there weren't a lot of people there. There were maybe like 20 or so girls in line, and we were confused as to if we were in the right line because there's only one, and we assumed it was for VIPs because the show didn't start till 8. So we assumed that general admission wouldn't start showing up, but you never know. And then about 5 minutes after we got our places in line, this girl came up to us asking if it was the VIP line. Then we just started talking and we became friends. All of us did. Her name's Ariana. And then about maybe 10 or 15 minutes later, our other friend that we were supposed to meet up with at the venue, Rachel, we met up with each other. And so it was just me, Isabella, Elizabeth, Marissa, Ariana, and Rachel. We all hung out together. It was really fun. And we talked to other people too in line, but yeah. Then it was about maybe 30 minutes or so before the doors were supposed to open for the meet and greet, and the VIP lady starts coming down the line. But my mom, she lost her phone and she went to the car because she thought she forgot it in there. So she went with Rachel's mom to go look for her phone, and she had the VIP tickets. So we explained to the lady that was collecting the VIP tickets and giving out the lanyards that my mom had them and she wasn't in the line. And the lady was really nice about it. She said that she would come back down the line for anyone who was missed. A few minutes after the VIP lady left, my mom got back with her phone and the tickets. The VIP lady came back and gave us all our lanyards. And here is what the lanyard looks like. It's just a picture of Kian and JC on both sides. Ta-da. Okay, so before the doors started opening, everyone started like squishing together, I guess, so the line seemed shorter. So we got around the bend because it was like, so here's the theater and here's like some piano store around the corner. So we were like still outside of the piano store. Like we could see the sign that said Kian and JC up front. And it started to rain and there was no shelter or anything and it was very bad. Kiki! Kiki! Love me. Love me. So all of us started freaking out that our hair would get ruined. So it was about 4:30, I would say, and the doors finally opened to go inside, and there were these girls by the door that were crying because they didn't have tickets or something, and it was super sad. But we finally got in the room that we were going to be meeting Kian and JC in. I just got like, I had been calm all day except for like when I got into the room and my eyes started watering. About maybe 20 minutes later, we were about maybe 10 people away from, there was a fly buzzing around. Die. But yeah, we were maybe about 10 people away from our group going, and I was like covering my mouth for some reason because I was nervous, and all of a sudden Elizabeth like nudges me and she points at James and she was like, what is James doing? And I look over and James's hand was over his mouth too, and so I was just kind of looking at him, and I moved my hand down to like my chin, and he did the same, and he was looking like straight at me, and I was just like, okay, and I looked away because I felt dumb. The order that it went in was, can you stop? So the order that it went in, it went Rachel's mom, because she got VIP too, and then it went Elizabeth, Isabella, me, Marissa, and Ariana. Because Marissa was gonna record all of our videos, and then Ariana recorded Marissa's. In Elizabeth's video, you could see that James like kept on looking over at the camera. So Isabella was meeting Kian and JC, and I was next. So Brent took my phone and took the gifts that I had for the boys, which was a flower crown for Kian, a flower crown for James, and a ferret brush for JC's hair, because it looks like a ferret, you know? But I love it. And then I had a letter for all three of them. So Brent put my stuff back on this gift table, and he came back, and the boys were still talking to Isabella. So Brent, the manager, took my phone and like started taking selfies on it. So Isabella left and went up the ramp, and it was my turn. So I started to go for Kian, but I turned last minute and hugged JC first, and then I went over to Kian, and he was like, are you a Kian or JC girl? But I thought you said like, are you a Jamie or a JC girl? So I was just like, both. And he was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then I hugged him, and then I went over to James, and he was like, hey cutie, and I hugged him. And then I had drawn JC's cloud on my wrist the night before. He was like, oh look JC, she has your cloud tattoo. And he showed JC it, and JC rolled up his sleeve, and we like compared it wrist to wrist, and Kian was like, oh, because it's just Sharpie, because I'm only 15, so I can't get tattoos yet unless I go to like Florida or something. So Kian noticed that it was only Sharpie, and I was like, oh wow, it's fake. And then he said, did you know that JC has that exact same tattoo? I was being sarcastic and was like, no, I had no clue. And then we started discussing about what pose we were gonna do for the picture. And James was like, oh, you should stage kiss JC, and he held up his thumbs. And I turned to JC, and he was like, yeah, or we could do it with our pinkies, or like this, and then he held up his middle fingers. And then Kian was like, or no fingers at all. I was super nervous. I was not prepared to stage kiss anyone. So I just stuck with the pose that I had planned out. And I pointed to Kian, and I was like, actually, I want to jump on your back. And Kian was like, okay, so screw all of our ideas. So I went behind Kian, and I jumped on his back. Kian said something. He was like, oh, she freaking jumped on my hip. And I was really scared that I hurt him or something, but I didn't think I hurt him. And then I motioned to hug JC. I kind of like stretched out my arm and put it around his shoulder, and he snuggled up to my head, and it was adorable. Kian did this like Shia LaBeouf, like, just do it thing. After the picture was done, I hopped off of Kian and I landed on his foot, and yeah, but once again, he didn't seem hurt by it, so I was just like, you know, it's all good, you know? I hugged all three of them again, and as I was going to walk up the ramp, James stopped me, and he was like, okay, so in the crowd, you're gonna scream as loud as you can for me, okay? And I was like, okay. I walked up the ramp and joined Isabella and Elizabeth, and we were gonna wait for Marissa and Ariana to get done, but a security guard came over to us and she was like, you guys need to go outside right now. And we were like, well, can we wait for our friends? And they were like, no. So we went over to the merch table, and so this is the t-shirt that I got. It says, sorry, you're not Kian or JC, and a question. No, that's confusing. And then I got a poster, and it's the tour before the tour poster, and it has all the dates down below. So then we went outside, and our whole group was done now, and we waited for about maybe an hour. And then all of a sudden, these girls started screaming and like hurting, like squishing up against each other. And I was really confused as to what was going on. But I looked up and I saw JJ, and he was outside and taking pictures with fans. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's JJ! After getting like super close to JJ, I got pushed back, and I gave up because I was like, you know, there's no way that I am going to get a picture with him. But then he started moving down the line to meet more fans that were at the end. And so next to the Aladdin Theater, there was a bar with tables outside, and this girl who had just got done meeting JJ, she hopped over, she turned to me and Elizabeth, because we went down the line together, and she turned to us and she was like, if I were you, I'd just jump over the table. Being the crazy fangirls that we are, we did that. It felt so weird doing it. But I met him. He turned to me and said, I'm just waiting for that one girl to ask me to kiss them on the cheek, and then last minute turn their head. And I laughed, and I went back around the table. I did not jump over the table a second time. I went back around the table. So then about maybe an hour later, maybe, only 30 minutes later, Ariana was bored, so we went and crossed the street to the AM/PM gas station that was like right across the street, and she got M&Ms and a pepperoni stick that she said she was gonna throw on stage to Kian and JC, but she never did. And all of a sudden, Elizabeth texted me saying that they were gonna open the door in 1 minute and to hurry and get back. And I was like, oh my gosh, we need to go. We ran back to the line, but we ended up waiting like 10 more minutes. And then finally the doors opened and everyone started pushing and crowding, and it was crazy. And Rachel's mom like latched onto me and she was like, we are getting through this together. And I was like, you really don't have to push me through this. So the concert was absolutely amazing, and I can't wait for 2016 because this was just the tour before the tour. So they're going on their actual tour 2016, and it's gonna be amazing, and I really hope they come to either Portland or Seattle, because that would be great. After the concert got done, we were gonna take a picture of the screen that said Kian and JC tour before the tour that was displayed like up on stage, but the security guards wouldn't let us, and it was really stupid. So we turned to leave to go back outside, and we saw this big mob of girls around the seats, and JJ was right in the middle of it, and I heard one of the security guards turn to JJ and go, oh my god, it's that guy again. So we all met up outside, and we left and went back to where we were staying. But anyways, that is all for my experience. It was amazing and so great, and I want to do it all over again. I really hope that I can go to the tour next year, because that would be amazing. But yeah, I am going to go. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Make sure you subscribe to be notified when any of the other girls or myself upload a video. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you next time, whenever that is. Yeah, bye!